So we're back for another SBC week, and we've got a lot to go through with plenty of very high rated SBCs and one that has been leaked for very, very soon. We're going to start off with two of the showdowns. Now, in terms of these showdowns, they're not necessarily big value. They could give you a potential of an 89. I just don't see any of them really getting into anybody's squad. It just doesn't happen. Realistically, they're decent value. They're not necessarily the worst in the world. When it comes to the cheapest buy rating, if we look at the 87, they're coming in at the moment at 10,500 coins. If you used to throw it up to 89, you're going 25,000 coins, so potentially one of them could do it. If you used to get both, then obviously, and they get a draw, it'd be 14.5 for an 88. Now, in terms of any of them, I think you'd probably just go okay value. If they were like 15 to 20,000, because then it would be almost, they are the value of an 87 rated card, I'd probably say great value. But at the moment, with them only being, potentially 10k lower than an 89 if you did one of them, and you'd have to pick the winner, you would still be forking out at least 60 to 70k. They're just there as extra fodder burners in the lower rated anyway. We have got a lot of player of the months as well, so if we do go into them, there is obviously one that has been fully confirmed, I believe now. I believe it came out this morning. We have got the La Liga player of the month that apparently is going to be Vinicius Jr. So that is already going to be a monstrous card. Might be the first time ever that he's got a player of the month, at least in the past couple of years. But it is the first SBC we've seen of him this year. When we look at the player of the months we've got at the moment, you've got Terrier at 66, you've got De Jong at 37, you've got Lewandowski at 126, Rasmus at 75, 144 for Dybala, and 131 for our boy Wirtz. Now, in terms of all of these, terms of rating, we're looking at Lawan as the highest. Dybala most definitely coming in as a lovely second. Rasmus, I'd say, is probably the best value in my eyes. Prem striker, decent upgrade as well in terms of his previous cards. I know technically he does have one that's higher rated, but I think the playstyle pluses on this one is just that little bit better. I think the combination works quite well. Dybala, I think personally, is a must complete. I'd even go as far to say as Rasmus, for the money that you're paying, is worth the card most definitely. Yes, if you've not got an Mbappe, Eusebio, I hate going through it all the time because not everybody has them, but it seems to be quite a lot of people have the absolute top of the top, and that could be 10% of the base, it could be 20% of the player base. I don't know the percentage, I just know what I come up against, and pretty much most people have at least one unbelievable player. Everybody seems to have Pele as well. I don't know where I missed that SBC. When it comes to the rest of them, Lawan, what was he, 126? I think it's okay value. I've changed it up as well, so we've gone the don't complete, might as well, so that's kind of replacing you might as well throw some fodder at it. You've got the okay value and the great value, because both of them were together at some point, so I was like, I want to differentiate between great and okay, because there is a little bit of a difference there. I think the value of a card should be determined a lot more specifically, so I've gone with that one. Terrier at 66, 88 rated card. I think it's okay value. I wouldn't say great. I think it's definitely okay. Could be cheaper. I'm not a fan of Wirtz in my eyes. Again, he's got another upgrade, but I think when we look at the potential of the previous one, you've got the 88 coming in at 50,000 coins. I know full well that we are looking at the double playstyle plus, but even then, technical tiki-taka for an extra, 70, 80k? I don't know if a plus one is worth that in my eyes. I think that's just a tax on the double playstyle plus. So for me, I've gone with might as well with him. And then De Jong, pretty sure, he was about 60k as well? Pretty sure he was at that level. Where was he? 37. So we looked at it, because realistically, he's not going in anybody's team. It just isn't. It isn't happening, is it? So 88 was about 14.5. I'd say that's got to be decent value. I think that's got to be in the... No, in fact, we'll go great value. I think he still could be cheaper. I think you could look at a player like that and go 20, 25k easily. It's a little bit over the 88 mark, but as an SBC player, I'd say that'd be okay. We then have some of the big ones. We have, obviously, Ginola coming in at a whopping 2.2 million. 90 rated. I'm surprised whenever looking at a lot of people's responses to him. a lot of people don't like him this year. And it's crazy. I mean, he's definitely not the wow factor when he first came into the game. But I still think he's a very, very good card. He's 90 rated. Obviously, the SBC is very expensive at 2.2. That's fair enough to say. The only problem I have with a lot of these big SBCs, when we look at Ginola, Ribery, Carlos, Jairzinho, Yashin, even Socrates, Tchouaméni, the only problem I have, and it's trying to escape the FOMO of it, is that, do I need these right now? We've got potential of the, I think it's going to be called the Record Breaker. I imagine it's going to be called something else, but like the Record Breaker promo, which is going to be basically the Trophy Titans 2.0 sort of thing. We've got that, and then Team of the Season. I don't know if it's worth using all of these kind of SBC fodders to then get one of them. Maybe like your Tchouaméni. I think someone like Tchouaméni, somebody like a Socrates, because they've not got another version, I think that's fair enough. When it comes to Ribery, Carlos, Jairzinho, Yashin, Ginola, you can get them in a pack. So I'm very hard done by to think that I need to go do these when I could literally go and do the new hero pick from yesterday and get Ginola straight out of it. Don't get me wrong, it's going to be very difficult in itself. That's why he's an SBC as well. But when there's a chance, you know full well you'll get halfway through it and Ginola will pop its head. So I think he's great value. I don't necessarily think he's a must complete on this. We then have some of the icons. We've got a decent whack. We've lost quite a few of them now. So pretty much all the bases have gone. Cafu, Henry, Maldini. We have lost the Team of the Years as well. But we have got for another 2 to 3 weeks, depending on which one you're looking at, the future stars. So Shevchenko, Rijkaard, Baggio and Cannavaro. We obviously have Jairzinho, and the rest of them from now have got a lot of days left because we've only just got them. So all of these will be available in Team of the Season as well, by the looks of it. If Team of the Season's in 3-4 weeks, we've still got 7 weeks on every single one of them at a minimum. So that's going to be perfect if you wanted to breach the fodder then. When it comes to the value then, so we've obviously got 260 on Shevchenko, 212 on Rijkaard, we got 466 on Baggio, we got 311 on Cannavaro, 1.8, 1.5, 600, 1.5 on Socrates, 1.7 on Carlos, 800 on Makalele, 2 million on Ribery, and finally the new one from yesterday, 480 on our boy Haji. So, where would I go with them? First and foremost, I don't think Torres is worth it in my eyes. I think when he first came out, yes, 100%. He's a great player. I think 600k right now, I don't think it's worth it. I could be wrong. People could disagree. I just don't think that that's worth the card in my opinion. Then we look at some of the future stars. I don't necessarily think any of them are an absolute must complete, but I would say Shevchenko, Rijkaard and Cannavaro are definitely in great value. I think they are brilliant for the price. Cannavaro I have my ups and downs with. I'm not a fan of the playstyle plus double, but still a very good card. Baggio, on the other hand, I think he's an okay value. I don't think he's necessarily crazy for the price. I think 460 is still very expensive for a sort of bog standard upgrade for him. There was nothing crazy from him. So I think for me, he would be okay value. Not quite in that kind of absolute bottom tier. I don't think he's an absolute rip-off. We then have Ribery and Carlos. I'm really surprised they even gave us Carlos, to be honest. I really thought that they wouldn't really bother with him just yet. I wonder if we can move this up a little bit.
If your team's looking like this, then I have the place for you. Head over to U7Buy for all your coin needs. They're cheap, fast, and reliable, but make sure to use JT11 at the checkout for 6% off all of your coin orders.
So I don't think we can get rid of I was going to say, I don't think we can get rid of the save, but in terms of Carlos, he's one of the best left backs in the game. I couldn't argue more with him to be in there if you haven't already done a lot of the left backs, because we have Sakina, we have Rolfo, we have, what's the name, Baka, Havertz, we have Lodi, and there is still so many more. Even Alphonso Davies throws himself into the mix, and I'm probably missing like 10 others as well. If you have already done them, I wouldn't say he's necessarily a must complete over that upgrade, so I wouldn't necessarily spend the 1.7 mil to upgrade Baka to a Carlos. But if you are looking at him just as Roberto Carlos, he's a phenomenal left back. Very, very good left back. We have Yashin. Now, in Yashin's defense, to be honest, I'm thinking when we look at the centre-backs that we've got, the silky evolution we got yesterday, if we look at like a Virgil, a Maldini SBC, something along them lines, and arguably it's the same argument for Carlos. If I looked at him subjectively, just that you are looking to put one centre-back in, is this SBC worth it regardless of who you've got? You are asking that question. I need a good centre-back. What are you going with? I think Yashin is in there. I don't necessarily think he's a must complete. I just think he's a great value for what you can get back. Ribery, on the other hand, again, I'd probably go the same. I do like the card, and I think when he first came out, it's a big upgrade. I was quite surprised with the base of Ribery that he's just not been in many people's teams. And I thought, French, left mid, 5'5", we know how, well, personally, I know how good he was previously in the game, so we're talking like FIFA 09, FIFA 10. He was a must. Him and Robben together were absolutely unbelievable. So seeing that he's back in the game, I thought he would be way more expensive. Now, obviously, the team of the year is expensive. That's fair enough to say. But again, we've had so many left wings. It's just crazy. I don't think he's an absolute must, especially with team of the season right around the corner. Arguably same for Jarzinho, to be honest. I think it's just the other side. Even though I will say we've had definitely more players in the left wing and can also play the left wing. You look at your Mbappes, you look at your Henrys, they all can play left wing as well. Whereas I think the right wing, you've got Jarzinho, Best, Garincha, Salah, Hansen. Thinking of the top, then you've got Saka's quite a nice ultimate birthday. Even though most of them are not even SBCs, I know Best was, and obviously Jarzinho. We've had a Salah SBC right at the start. Even then, that could due an upgrade by now. So we've already got a very lackluster right wing in the top end category. Obviously, there's been right wings, but definitely not in this sort of caliber. But even then, I don't think Jarzinho is worth it, especially being a Centurions. I think he just does massively need the upgrade, and he will get it definitely at some point. Now, I'm just checking before I open my mouth again. He hasn't had an upgrade. Now we have the other Ultimate Birthdays. I don't know why I keep thinking they're future stars as well. I think it's the pink across. We got Socrates, Makalele, Hadji. Now we've got Makalele coming in at 800. I think he's a very good card. In terms of a CDM, he was one of the better ones I've definitely seen from a CDM. I don't know if I'd go must complete. I think he's definitely on the border in my eyes. No, I'm gonna stick to great value. Then we've got Socrates. He's coming in. I think he was a bit more expensive, wasn't he? 1.5 mil. He was good as well. He's a great cam. A 5.5 Socrates, 92 rated. Again, I'd probably go into that. And I think there's not many where I'm like must complete, because I'm trying to think subjectively for what time of year we're in. I wouldn't necessarily go out and absolutely splash on every SBC, purely on the fact that I know team of the season, more than likely they introduce triple play star pluses, which is going to be then progressive through just team of the season. And then also there's going to be crazy SBCs. We've got men and women team of the season coming out. It's going to be interesting to see how they do it. Then we finally have Hadji. Honestly, I feel like I got cooked yesterday for him. I mean, it's not a great upgrade. I don't see how it is a great upgrade. It's a +1. I like the double play style plus for him. I think that's nice in itself. He's obviously got the dead ball finesse. You've got different abilities there. But I just don't see how going from a 90 with a 4.4 to a 5.5, great. It's got the flair. It's changed it into the dead ball and finesse. Brilliant. Finesse has already been patched. And then dead ball is great. But, I mean, I've got so many other players that can do free kicks. I just don't see him as a great value SBC. I think he is okay value, but he's very much like Baggio. I think for what you're paying, I don't necessarily think he's worth the upgrade in any position. But again, let me know down below what you think. Then we also have the rest of the Ultimate Birthdays. I'm going to put in straight away that Sakina's just not worth doing. I think, 700? I think she is 800 for her. I think one of them is 700, one of them is like 620. I mean, 580 and 670, fair enough. I just don't see the worth in that. She's a great upgrade on a card. I love her in forms. She's obviously got a team of the year as well that is absolutely crazy. But we've just had so many left-back SBCs. Why make her so expensive when we've got Baka and Havertz coming in at 100k between them, 150k? That for me is better value. I'd be looking 2 300k at an absolute max for it. Same with Openda, to be honest, as well. I was kind of disappointed. 300,000 for a striker. At least he had a decent upgrade. I mean, he's got the pace on him, he's got the shooting, and everybody likes a striker, let's be real. You're going to pay more for a striker than you are a kind of left back. But again, I don't necessarily think he is crazy value. We look then at Harriet, 37,000 for an 88. I think pretty decent value. We look at, is it Yoshida? Pretty sure. He's coming in at 13,000 coins for an 88. That is much better. That is a must complete. Great fodder options. 88 rated. He's coming in just as the same price as the lowest 88, or even a little bit cheaper, in fact. Brilliant. We have Cuadrado at 500,000. Again, why? I don't get, like, I get he's a decent player. 5'5", fantastic. Whipped pass, slide tackle, decent play style pluses. I'm never going to argue with that. But in terms of him, he's not a 500k player. You look at any of the ultimate birthdays, like you look across the board here. You've got so many, like even Militao is 700. Like that is a phenomenal 90 centre back. He's got the anticipate aerial, so absolutely top end playstyle pluses. Granted, he hasn't got the weak foot, he's got the skill moves. It is what it is, but 500 for Cuadrado, I think, is an absolute mess. I really don't even think that's worth it in my eyes. We then have Grimaldo, another great player. Really want him in that centre mid because them stats. 93 on the pace, 91 dribbling, decent defending physical. He's got a good amount of passing and then some shooting as well. You boost that up to a 92, 93, change him into the midfield for a shapeshifter. That is going to be a brilliant footage shapeshifter if they decide to do it. Again, coming in at 63,000. I think that's pretty good value for him. I would say great value for that. Then we finally have the two big ones. Now, Coman, I think, is brilliant for a left mid. If you are looking for a lot cheaper, you're not looking for a million coin SBC. He's 740, 5'5" with the rapid plus as well. I personally think that's a cracking left mid. Now, when we look at Tchouaméni, bit more expensive. He's 1.7 mil. Again, if I was looking subjectively for him, he is definitely worth it. A 91 version, a lovely upgrade, a 4.5, intercept bruiser, very good CDM traits. He would overtake a Makalele for me, and that's why I think with Makalele, even though I really like him, you've got so much time to get him done if you wanted to wait for him, and I think it would have been a good choice to spend the 700k you'd put on Makalele on Tchouaméni instead. I think that card is brilliant. It's a great upgrade for him, and for me, I think he is definitely a must complete again. There is going to be the list. Let me know down below if you agree, disagree, where do you want to put people, and I'll be up for the comments. And if you want to check out any of the videos on the screen, make sure you do and leave a comment to say which video you've come from.